Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Northern Maple. So, I do have to start the episode by apologizing for not being consistent with uploading new episodes. My goal is to get 2 new episodes out a week, and I have fallen short of that for many, many weeks. But here's the thing, some episodes, like today's, take maybe 10 hours of research, which is really no time at all when you compare it to the 30 plus hours I have spent so far researching Bill C-3, an act to amend the Citizenship Act, which will be our next episode. Now, I'm sure with time I'll figure out how to post consistently, but until then, I'm just going to have to keep apologizing to you guys. One topic, though, that I'm very eager to start tackling is the polarization of the right versus left and media distortion. Whether the source leans conservative or liberal, I often find that only a fraction of the information being shared is truthful, while the rest of the information is twisted to push a subjective narrative. And subjectivity, my friends, this whole my truth or your truth, is nothing more than feelings and opinions, not facts. The truth is objective and is based on facts and actual science. That's literally the purpose of science, the relentless pursuit of the truth driven by curiosity and evidence. Richard Feynman, a very brilliant theoretical physicist, said, and I quote, "I would rather have questions that can't be answered than answers that can't be questioned." This captures his belief that science thrives on open inquiry and skepticism, not on accepting unchallengeable claims. Feynman's words emphasize that the pursuit of truth requires testing ideas against evidence, not taking narratives at face value. This principle is vital for scientific progress and critical thinking, encouraging curiosity while warning against the dangers of uncritical acceptance, a lesson especially relevant when navigating media distortion, where subjective narratives often obscure verifiable facts. Then we have the brilliant mind of Karl Popper, a philosopher who brought us scientific falsifiability. He asserted that for a hypothesis to be scientific, it must be testable and potentially disprovable through empirical evidence. He emphasized that researchers should rigorously, I can't say that today, attempt to falsify their hypotheses rather than merely seeking to confirm them and ensure the pursuit of truth. Feynman and Popper's insights show us that true science embraces the possibility of being wrong. It's only by constantly challenging our assumptions with rigorous tests that we can hope to find the truth. So why did I bring this up? You might be asking yourself. Because we just saw an entire population who claim to trust the science exemplify anti-scientific behavior, prioritizing their feelings of a politician over the actual truth. What am I referring to? The West's response to this whole Tylenol non-conspiracy. Let me set the stage. On September 24th, President Donald Trump had a press conference where he shared the potential risk of taking Tylenol while pregnant. And my goodness, did people raise up against this claim solely because it came from Donald Trump and RFK Jr. Now, before we start going over what people posted in response, let's be clear about one irrefutable fact. Tylenol has never stated that it is safe to take acetaminophen while pregnant. Tylenol is listed as the safest over-the-counter, or OTC, drug to help alleviate pain and fever. But safest does not mean safe, and that there are no risks involved. Tylenol has just fewer risks associated with its use compared to other OTCs. It's a very important thing to distinguish. Furthermore, in March of 2017, Tylenol posted on X stating, "We actually don't recommend using any of our products while pregnant. Just make sure to talk to your doctor before taking Tylenol while you're pregnant." Why does Tylenol recommend you talk to your doctor first? because acetaminophen is not 100% safe. It's just the safest option, and as such, Tylenol wants to put the accountability on your doctors who are supposed to. They're supposed to do this, share the benefits and risks of taking acetaminophen while pregnant with you. This is called informed consent. And by acknowledging the risk and benefits, your doctor and Tylenol are no longer liable if you or your unborn child get injured. But your doctor needs to disclose all known risk factors. Okay? Informed consent, it's important. Now let's move on to the social media claims following Trump's speech. First up, Senator Mazie Hirono, sorry if I didn't say that right, shared this on October 5th. As RFK Jr. works to further restrict medication, abortion, Trump is telling pregnant women to tough it out and forego pain medication. Not only do Republicans want to control women's bodies, they want us to suffer as they take our rights away. Okay, this is quite the statement, and if you were to read just this statement, you would most likely think this post or take this post as truthful. This is an excellent example about how politicians will manipulate the truth to elicit a strong emotional response to promote their own agenda. Trump did say the words tough it out, but this senator completely took it out of context. Here is what Trump said.
So taking Tylenol is not good. All right, I'll say it. It's not good. For this reason, they are strongly recommending that women limit Tylenol use during pregnancy unless medically necessary. That's, for instance, in cases of extremely high fever, that you feel you can't tough it out, you can't do it. I guess there's that. It's a small number of cases, I think. But if you can't tough it out, if you can't do it, that's what you're going to have to do. You'll take a Tylenol, but it'll be very sparingly. It can be something that's very dangerous to the woman's health. In other words, a fever that's very, very dangerous, and ideally a doctor's decision, because I think...
So come on, Mazie. He didn't tell women to tough it out. He said, if you can't tough it out, meaning do your best to manage without any pain medication to avoid the risk involved with taking acetaminophen while pregnant. But if you can't, take Tylenol as recommended by your doctor. There are a lot of safe, not safest, safe alternatives to pain management while pregnant other than Tylenol. You could try chiropractic care, acupuncture, massage therapy, osteopathy or physiotherapy, all of which, when provided by a skilled licensed practitioner, can be immensely helpful. It would be really nice if some of these politicians actually had our best interests at hand and pointed these options out. Just saying, there is more to life than OTCs. Next post, at Mallory McMorrow, a candidate for U.S. Senate, posted this statement on X. You will never receive more unsolicited advice than when you are walking around in the world as a pregnant woman. The last thing we need is RFK Jr. and Donald Trump telling us to tough it out. Listen to your doctor, not political hacks. I absolutely agree. Pharmaceuticals should be studied and shared with those belonging to the profession, which is probably why President Trump and RFK Jr. work closely with medical doctors and researchers, and even have Dr. Oz standing behind them during this speech. These men did not conclude that there is a possible correlation between Tylenol and autism on their own. They are advocating on behalf of doctors and researchers who found this potential correlation. Let me ask you this, Mallory, aspiring politician. How do politicians know who to advocate for? By speaking to their constituents. So, if your constituents are wondering if the claims that Tylenol might be correlated to autism, Wouldn't you want to speak with doctors and researchers who have been researching that specific topic? Yes, no? I'm hoping the answer is yes. Politicians are meant to amplify the voices of their constituents. That is their true purpose, and that is exactly what Trump and RFK Jr. are doing. They're amplifying the voices of researchers and doctors who have spent years researching potential causes of autism, which is, by the way, a neurodevelopmental condition that once had a prevalence of 1 in 100,000 children and is now 1 in 31 children. We need to find the leading cause or causes of autism. So, Mallory, are you opposed to that? It kind of seems like you are. I'm just saying. Now for my favorite post of all, at Mega Lie Tracker. He posted this on X. Trump tells pregnant women to tough it out instead of taking Tylenol because he feels like it causes autism. He wants you to suffer based on an unfounded feeling he has about a link. Okay, so first, that handle is just amazing because at Mega Lie Tracker is a big old liar. 2 lies repeated twice are in this post. First lie, Trump tells pregnant women to tough it out instead of taking Tylenol. Already debunked that. What Trump actually said is he encouraged women to try to tough it out, but if you can't, go speak to your doctor before taking Tylenol. Absolute great answer. The second lie, Trump feels like it, referring to Tylenol causes autism. False, objectively false. He mentions a correlation, not causation. I have listened to the speech twice and read through the entire transcript. The word cause is only used twice. The first is in reference to finding the causes of autism, which should be a priority, seeing in 1 in 31 children are being diagnosed with the condition. The second time, Trump is saying that they promise transparency as they uncover potential causes and treatments. So no, at Mega Lie Tracker, Trump did not say that Tylenol causes autism. In the speech, he does say that he has strong feelings about autism because a lot of his close friends have children with autism, and he sees the challenges those children face each and every day. And for the third lie, he repeated lie 1 and 2. He wants you to suffer based on an unfounded feeling he has about a link. Not quite. Again, he encourages women to try and tough it out, to avoid Tylenol when possible, because studies have revealed a correlation, a pattern between Tylenol and increased risk of autism and ADHD. So I would invite you, Mega Lie Tracker, to do a better job at reporting. You're failing at the very thing your name suggests you do. Not good. All that Trump said in this speech is that the prevalence of autism has risen far too much in a very short period of time. That we have groups of people who do not take any pharmaceuticals and who have little to no cases of autism within their population. And as such, we need to start investigating the differences between these groups. One common difference is the use of pharmaceuticals. So let's investigate that. Studies are showing a possible correlation, meaning a pattern between women who take Tylenol and autism. That's called the scientific method, folks. Always being curious, always asking new questions, and always be relentless for the pursuit of the truth. Science. When done properly, it's amazing. And now, how did Canada respond to this ridiculous event? Let's look at a few headlines. So first, NPR writes, Trump blames Tylenol for autism. Science doesn't back him up. CBC writes, Trump's claims linking autism and Tylenol are a manufactured conspiracy. Alberta doctor warns. More than 50 Alberta pediatricians pen letter U.S. president's claims about Tylenol use in pregnancy. And then Global News writes, keep taking Tylenol during pregnancy, Health Canada says amid Trump claims. Let's just quickly go over these headlines. If you read these articles, the narratives are all similar, Trump stated Tylenol causes autism. Objectively false. We've debunked it multiple times. Trump is very clear that there is a correlation, not causation, and more research needs to be done, which is his administration's plan on doing. In the meantime, limit your Tylenol use. That's it. Next, no science. It's a conspiracy, objectively false. Reputable research institutions have shared their research. Look at all of these. So we have what? Harvard School of Public Health, Mount Sinai, and Johns Hopkins, just to name a few. There's a ton more, all shared a similar finding. There is a correlation between the use of Tylenol and the increased risk of autism and ADHD. So, to Health Canada, what on earth are you doing? Did any of you read the studies that have come out? Perhaps rather than encouraging women to continue to take Tylenol while pregnant, which Tylenol themselves don't even recommend, you should provide us with the most up-to-date information, which is that yes, a correlation has been observed between prenatal use of Tylenol or acetaminophen and the risk of autism and ADHD, and further studies need to be done to determine if there is a causal link. And perhaps, I don't know, recommend what the manufacturer is recommending. Speak to your doctor before taking Tylenol while pregnant so you can understand all the risks and benefits involved. Take the smallest dose possible and do not take Tylenol long term. That's it. I have seen so many posts by women claiming to have done their research and they found no evidence of such a correlation. I'm no expert, I'm not claiming to be, but the researchers at Harvard are, and they have concluded that there is indeed a correlation, as did many researchers from other reputable institutions. When I did my own research, studies fell in one of two groups. The first, the study revealed a correlation, and again, that means pattern, not causation, between the use of Tylenol or acetaminophen and the risk of autism and ADHD in their children, and call for further investigation. Then the second group, they found no correlation, had significant flaws in their own research, and made no recommendation for further investigation, which is a big no-no in the science community. More research is always needed, regardless of the results of the study. One approach relentlessly pursues truth through rigorous inquiry, while the other draws flawed conclusions, admitted in their own paper, by the way, and declares the matter settled. Let's go over a study that found no correlation between acetaminophen use during pregnancy and children's risk of autism, ADHD, and intellectual disability, which, if I remember correctly, is the actual full name of the study conducted by Victor Alkovich. Definitely not saying that right. So the limitation section of the study reveals a critical oversight. While it distinguishes between women who use acetaminophen during pregnancy and those who did not, it fails to account for the dosage and duration of acetaminophen use. Why is this omission significant? Because low-dose, short-term acetaminophen use has not been shown to adversely affect fetal development. By including these cases in the study group, not the control group, the researchers diluted the observed rates of autism and ADHD in the study group, rendering any difference between the study group and the control group statistically insignificant. It diluted the results, and the conclusion makes no mention of further investigation, despite the several flaws the study admittedly has. Didn't say that right. I can't talk today. One group upholds the scientific process while the other undermines it, and it's this approach that our governmental institutions are recommending. This whole situation is just weird. It is very weird. I almost need to whisper it. There's something nefarious about it. Trump's speech has been grossly misrepresented, painted as utterly detached from reality. Mainstream media has relentlessly vilified Trump's speech on the 24th, framing him, RFK Jr., and others who call for further investigation to Tylenol's potential risks during pregnancy as a conspiracy theory. This narrative seems driven by an agenda, not scientific evidence. A significant group of people, consumed by their disdain for Trump, dismiss the possibility of truth simply because it's associated with him. This reflex to reject inquiry feels so profoundly wrong. Richard Feynman even warned against what's called cargo cult science, the superficial adherence to scientific forms without rigorous scrutiny. This is precisely what we're witnessing from establishments like Health Canada, which appear to prioritize subjective narratives over objective evidence. Karl Popper emphasized that scientific theories must be testable and falsifiable, demanding relentless examination regardless of the outcome. True science pursues truth, yet institutions like our media, the education system, and Health Canada seem intent on stifling that pursuit. That isn't science, it's mass manipulation. And that's all I'm going to say on this topic today. Next on Northern Maple, it is definitely about time we switch back to the House of Commons and start going over bills being presented. I do plan on starting with Bill C3 if I can finally finish all my research. An act to amend the Citizenship Act. This one threw me down the rabbit hole because the bill isn't new to this parliament. It's the reintroduction of Bill C-71, I believe, if I remember that one correctly, from the previous parliament, which ended up casting a big shadow over another bill that was presented first within the Senate. Needless to say, it is the most in-depth investigation I have done thus far on a bill, and I am pretty excited to finish it up and share my findings with you all. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's everything I wanted to cover for today's episode. So take care, everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye.